I'm Dan Rosenberg,
And I'm TJ Perrin.
and we'd like to welcome you to 11 Minutes with Octane 11, a B2B marketing podcast where we talk with experts in B2B marketing about real life challenges and solutions in this complicated space in just 11 minutes. Because no one has time to listen to long form podcasts, least of all B2B marketers who are using more tools than ever and are under more pressure than ever to deliver breakthrough messaging and business impact. Today is a very special episode because it's our 11th episode. 11 minutes with Octane 11, 11th episode. So who better to be our guest today than Mike Romoff? He's a longtime friend and he's an advisor here at Octane 11. And also, fun fact, Mike is a VIP at Balthazar. Separate long story. I won't
Long
get into
story for another time.
for another time, but we don't have a lot of time right now. So let's just jump right in and get into it. So first, Mike, please tell us a little bit about your background and what you've been working on these days.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. I have been in digital media and advertising for longer than I would care to admit. Spent about 9 years at LinkedIn, ran global ops there, launched an agency team, did channel sales, came over to Google. And so I've been here for about 3 years, ran the global channel sales team for a couple of years, and then moved to my current role running US small business sales. And most recently, I was moonlighting, double hatting, running the mid-market lead gen team. And so just coming up for air. So excited to talk about a little B2B marketing.
That's amazing. Well, that sounds like a busy load for Q1. So glad you made it through.
Yeah, we did well. Happy to hand it off.
Nice. So what are the biggest challenges you've seen in B2B marketing and go-to-market motions overall?
For me, it's all about measurement. When you've got perfect information, it's easy to make really good decisions. And you guys know, frankly, probably better than most, how hard it is to get even halfway decent information and metrics, let alone have perfect information. And so I'm mostly surprised how hard it is to get, from a client perspective, real visibility into their business, their profitability, where actual advertising and marketing fits into their overall business. Without that information, it's hard to have really deep strategic conversations. And so I think the biggest challenge is creating that kind of insight, actually having the information to be able to make decisions on. And then once you've got measurement in some kind of way, how do you actually make it actionable? And I think getting the information all together is one thing. Putting it in a format, being able to use it in a way to drive decisions and optimize, I think is something pretty different. To your question about go-to-market motions, I think from a platform perspective and a sales perspective, so many clients don't have the ability to go deeper than the easy metrics to measure, clicks and impressions and the stuff that's easy. And so you base your decisions on your media mix, or you base your optimizations on things that are easy, but they actually don't reveal true economic impact. They don't actually show what's happening in terms of how your investment is paying off for the business. And so for the better salespeople in the world, and for platforms that are looking to actually help customers drive better outcomes through their marketing, you need the customer to be a good partner, right? And to really understand how to reveal the ways that marketing actually drives profitability for the business.
Yeah, 100%. That is near and dear to what we think about.
Figure there's a reason we're talking
B2B.
today, right?
100%.
That makes sense. So what are the best tools, tactics, vendors, or campaigns you've seen?
I mean, look, I work at Google, so I'm a little bit biased. I think being able to really understand from top of funnel, mid funnel, all the way through to conversion, having a full view of what's happening, being able to dynamically optimize, I think we do a pretty good job. A lot of people are talking about AI these days, as are we. The reality is that Google has been using AI for optimization and powering our products for a really long time. I think everyone seems to have just caught on, but it's deep within the DNA of the company. So I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it is amazing. Just the change in the last year or so and how it's caught the public's imagination. But it's been around for a long time. I think it's just because we've gotten like a more human sounding words associated with it through LLMs.
Yeah, and also like having a consumer product that can capture people's imaginations.
Yeah.
I think brought it into the public consciousness in a way that back end optimization gets us excited, but for the general public, that's not something that they're thinking about too often.
Yeah. Not
I
until
mean, I get
now.
excited about back end optimization. I don't know
I
about you
love that.
guys.
Just say those words.
Yeah.
Ooh. What would you say is one thing that everyone gets wrong in B2B marketing?
If I zoom all the way out, we've been talking about digital marketing and about analytics and all that, but if you zoom all the way out, at the end of it, people make decisions, make buying decisions much more on an emotional level than I think we would imagine. And so, as a B2B marketer, you're thinking about, well, if I explain my product super well and all the benefits and the feature functions, I'm going to just overcome any objections and people are going to buy it. And in the end, it's much more of an emotional decision. And so, things like creative that has brand affinity, like understanding what's the vision for you and your company by buying this product. A lot of the things that we would consider much more of a consumer type approach apply in B2B. And in some ways, it's even more so. Like the example is if you're going to buy a soda and you really want Coke, but you buy Pepsi, like no big deal, right? Like it's waste a couple bucks or whatever. If you are going to buy a new cloud hosting environment for your multi-million-dollar company and you screw it up, that's your career on the line. So these deep emotional, high stakes decisions don't really resonate with a list of features and functions. So I think you have to balance the vision, the emotional resonance, the like human reason why someone would want to ultimately purchase that product with the intellectual side to actually justify why you feel that way. I think especially in B2B, there's a big lean into the more intellectual side and just completely miss the human side of it.
Yeah, it's so true. And first of all, it sounded like I heard a little channeling of some B2B LinkedIn B2B Institute content there
Hey,
around.
I mean, we did found the B2B Institute back in the day, and I think a lot of the stuff coming out of there still makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, the Think Like Disney piece is one of my favorites. But also, it reminds me of I was just hearing from John McNeil, who's like one of the great creative minds in the B2B space, and he was talking at the Imaginarium Summit last week, and he was talking about some of the creatives that they put together for IBM like 30 years ago, and no mention of feeds and speeds, just raw emotion. Are you taking advantage of the technology of the age? Like it was just so good and so impactful. And that was a campaign that ran for so long. Definitely one to
Yeah.
check out.
If you had one wish for a tool or capability for B2B marketers, what would it be?
I think the perennial wish is actually understanding attribution.
Mm,
And you guys are taking some big swings at it. People have looked at lots of different ways to understand how is my spend in conjunction with all the other factors actually driving results. So if I could wave a magic wand and really have perfect view into what's the perfect media mix model, how much more of this and how much more of that actually creates some synergistic effect in terms of outcomes, I think that's kind of the holy grail. I think part 1A to that is especially on the brand side. On the lower funnel performance marketing, you can at least get there, right? And
mhm.
especially for consumer where you've got really rapid cycles, you can do lots of A/B testing. When it comes to B2B where you've got so much longer sales cycles, you don't get that same kind of iterative feedback. When you think about brand in particular, no one does a great job really understanding how brand translates into some kind of tangible economic benefit. And I think as a result, times get tight, things get tough, you're trying to squeeze your budget, it's an easy place to take from. And I think more often than not, that's the wrong approach. So if again, I think we started this conversation by saying if we had perfect information, we'd make perfect decisions. I think between attribution and really understanding brand, if you could do that and wave a magic wand, you'd be in a pretty good place.
That is the age old wish. And obviously that's one we're working on quite a bit. Agree. You need that long view, but also need to open the aperture
Yeah.
100%. You've got attribution on just one channel. You can't really do anything very scientific with that, because all this other noise with 90% of the world out there could be driving results. So if you have
Yeah.
every single tactic out there, campaigns, product releases, everything that's available into that consideration set, that you can get that much closer.
Yeah.
So
At least gives you a chance to understand how those things are interacting and how many times you're reaching individuals and companies and in what formats, and then at least you've got a shot.
yeah,
Right.
working on it. Only 11 minutes though. So what's one recent win you've had in B2B marketing or just in life?
One of the pleasures for me is getting to run a good sized team. And if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you get a sense of who I am. Like I'm really committed to helping people personally and professionally. And so I get to do that every day with my team. Our team impacts thousands upon thousands of small businesses. Those small businesses are people. And so getting to work with great people every day, supporting our customers, that to me is a win. So no matter what the ups and downs of daily life are, the fact that every day we get to have such a positive impact on the world and help people with their businesses and ultimately that's their livelihoods, that's a huge win. So I feel a lot of gratitude for that I get to do that every day.
Mm, I love that. Well, that is maybe a good place to wrap here. I can't believe it. It's already been 11 minutes, maybe a little bit more. But like I said, we got to keep it brief. I learned a lot. I love hearing about Mike and all the things you've been doing, some of the real kind of meeting of the minds on the challenges, and then also completely agree all the way through to the end on working with people and the team and helping develop people and influence the people around you. So great. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I love what you guys are doing. I think it's filling a real need in the market. And so not surprising to see all of your success. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I feel like we're just getting started. And we've got an amazing lineup of B2B marketers and experts up on deck. So definitely check out episodes at octane11.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for listening.